Aubrey, you ready?
I am.
Okay, let's start.
Hey, thank
What?
you, everybody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to start with a few housekeeping items. My name is Aubrey Pavlik. I am Jazz Cruises Director of Guest Services and Communications. Before we get started and Michael introduces himself, just a few notes for you all. We are going to be putting everybody on mute to avoid any sort of ambient or background noise. We are happy to take your questions. We will answer them towards the end of the presentation. If you would like to submit a question, you can go ahead and click on the red arrow at the top of the screen. It should be in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. And then you can submit your question via the chat feature. Any questions of a general nature, we will answer here. And then if you have a very specific question that is more specific to you, we will follow up via email after the webinar. And finally, this is the first in our series of webinars, so keep your eyes open for details on other webinars that will be happening closer to the sailing. This recording will be available after, and it will be on the Jazz Cruise booked guest page within the next couple of days, so you can refer to that if you would like. And with that, I will pass it over to our Executive Director, Michael Lazaroff.
Thank you, Aubrey. Michael Lazaroff here. 25th anniversary of the Jazz Cruise began in 2001. We were very excited. It is really quite momentous for it to be our 25th anniversary. This was the first cruise we ever did. First cruise we ever did as a full ship charter. And the fact that it's still probably more popular now than ever is a very heartwarming. And we work hard to make sure that you guys have a terrific time. And the Jazz Cruise is the greatest straight ahead jazz festival in the world. It's almost the only one. Almost every jazz festival these days has a mixture of all types of music, including a lot of non-jazz. But we have always been true to the straight ahead jazz music genre. We have great artists, great people, and great opportunities, and we are just thrilled. So we are sailing on the Celebrity Summit. We will be sailing from Tuesday, January 28th to a Tuesday, February 4th. People ask why on a Tuesday. That really is not our decision. They actually take these ships out of circulation, their current runs, and then they rearrange them for us. We have this ship for 4 cruises. This is the first of 4 7-day cruises that we will be producing, and so they have to reposition the ship, and then it becomes an issue of where we can berth, where we can depart from, and we wanted to depart from Fort Lauderdale, so we have a Tuesday to a Tuesday itinerary. We'll be visiting Cozumel and a Grand Cayman. Check-in. Aubrey, you want to walk them through the online check-in process?
Absolutely. So check-in is required for all of our guests, and it can easily be completed using your Celebrity Cruises account. So you're going to go to this link here, which is celebritycruises.com/account, and the Jazz Cruise should automatically show up as an upcoming cruise. This is going to be available for you starting on December 14th, which is 45 days prior to embarkation. And you can easily access it by clicking Start Check-in in your Celebrity account. It can be completed at any time up until January 25th, which is 3 days prior to our embarkation day. The whole process is pretty simple. It really leads you through the step-by-step procedure, should take you less than 15 minutes to complete. You will, however, want to have your passport, a credit card, and your Celebrity Cruises reservation number handy when you're going to complete this. During this process, you're also going to be asked to select a terminal arrival time. And these are available in half-hour windows between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. So this is the time that you anticipate that you will be arriving to the terminal. So you should take your travel time into consideration. For instance, if your flight arrives at 10:30 a.m., we do not suggest selecting that first 11 a.m. window because it's going to take you a little bit of time to get there. And if you arrive outside of that selected window, you may encounter a little bit of a longer wait time for your boarding. After you complete your online check-in, your Express Pass, which is basically it's your sailing pass, what you get on board with, it will be available for you to download and to print. So it's your boarding pass for embarkation day. So it's important that you do go ahead and keep that in a safe place. Of course, if you don't print it right away, you can print it closer to the cruise time as well. And then starting at 30 days prior to embarkation, so that's December 29th, Celebrity Cruises luggage tags will be available for you to also print. And that is going to be, again, within your Celebrity account. So you can print those out and affix those to each piece of your luggage once you arrive in the Fort Lauderdale area. And this is also a very important step as it tells Celebrity where to deliver your luggage once on board.
Yeah, a couple of items here. If you are staying at the hotel, a guest hotel, and you are using our transportation to get to the terminal, please indicate that your terminal arrival time, select the last segment. That is not when you'll be arriving, but that way we won't clutter up the earlier times. The luggage tags show which part of the ship your cabin is, and that greatly expedites the a delivery of your luggage. It also pre-prints your name and your stateroom number. More luggage is misplaced because people write down the wrong cabin number, or it's hard to read, or something like that. The materials that the luggage tags are made out of are relatively flimsy. They're not paper, but they're not really stiff anyway. So what we ask you to do, if you're going to staple them together on your luggage, you do it at the very last minute when you give your luggage to the porters. Almost every porter carries a stapler with them, or they sell very cheaply and very nicely plastic see-through luggage tags that these luggage tags fit in, and you can put them on the ship. We used to have a link for those.
Yeah, we can send that out in the next Get Ready letter. We'll send a link to that, but you can find them on Amazon. They're pretty widely available.
Yeah.
Not expensive.
I strongly recommend them. Going on the cruise, having your luggage not there is a complete nightmare, and anything that you can do to minimize that would be great. Now Aubrey's going to walk you through the Celebrity pre-cruise planner.
All right, pre-cruise planner. So pre-cruise planner is another really helpful tool to use prior to the cruise. It can be accessed by clicking the Plan My Cruise button, again, within your Celebrity account. You can make a variety of reservations, including dining, booking beverage packages, shore excursions, internet, spa treatments, and any other type of amenities. And the great thing about this is you can do it all online from the comfort of your own home. The best prices on these items are going to be available via the pre-cruise planner. Prices do increase once we get on board the ship, so that's one other reason that we do highly recommend that you make these purchases prior to getting on board. We have actually worked with Celebrity to get some special pricing on both the beverage and internet packages. And these are also reflected within the pre-cruise planner. So if you go into that tool, you're going to see that the classic and premium alcohol packages are discounted by 20%. And the non-alcohol package, which is sometimes referred to as the zero proof, is 10% discount. The Wi-Fi, the premium Wi-Fi packages are discounted by 20%. And then there's also a couple of different specialty restaurants that have night one specials. So if you'd like to dine in those on embarkation day, you're going to see that there's a couple of different discounts that are available on those as well. Celebrity's pre-cruise planner tool is currently available to all of our booked guests, and you can make those purchases or modifications, or even if you do purchase something and you have to cancel or you'd like to cancel, you can do that until 3 days prior to the cruise. So you really just need to sign into your Celebrity Cruises account and then select which items you'd like to purchase and or modify in that situation. It's generally pretty easy.
Celebrity works with Starlink for their internet, and it's got to be the best in the entire industry. We seldom experience downtime, and it's actually relatively fast. So it is a very efficient internet package, and that's important. The other thing that Aubrey alluded to, doing this in your home, almost everything that you have to do here, if you waited to do them on the ship, you'd have to go to a different place to do it. So you'd be standing in line for this, standing in line for that, standing in line for the other. You would spend most of your first day doing that, and it would not be a lot of fun, and you probably wouldn't get great satisfaction anyway. We really urge you to do as many of these things as possible from your own house or home. Boarding requirements, Aubrey?
All right, so everybody will need a passport. It is highly recommended that it is valid through 6 months prior to disembarkation. So that's going to be August 4th of 25. If you need a visa, you will need to have that. Again, check with your country of residence if that is applicable to you. Please also have your Express Pass printed. We highly recommend printing this once you go through the online check-in process. It is available on your phones if you have the Celebrity Cruises app. Sometimes you're holding so many things on embarkation day that your phone will time out or you can't access it easily. So that's why we do recommend having a printed version. Any medications or valuables that you will need, we do not recommend putting those into your checked luggage. You'll want to have those on your person. And then if you are interested in bringing wine, you are allowed 1 bottle of wine per person, 750 milliliters, so the standard wine size. Spirits are not allowed to be brought on board regardless of if it's embarkation day or otherwise.
And taking that further, if you consume the bottle of wine in your own room, there obviously is no corkage. If you bring it to a restaurant, there is a corkage fee. Embarkation day. Aubrey?
All right, so we will be boarding the ship at Terminal 25 in Port Everglades, which is the Fort Lauderdale cruise port. So you can go ahead and look at Celebrity Summit signage when you arrive if you are driving yourself, or if you're arriving via taxi or Uber. If you let them know that you're going to Celebrity Summit and it's Terminal 25, they should be able to get right there. Upon arrival, there are a few steps that you should follow to ensure the best boarding experience once you get to the terminal. So again, we just want to remind you to follow your terminal arrival time. As I mentioned before, this is a requirement to select during the online check-in process. Those of you who have sailed with us in the past couple of years will probably attest to the fact that the terminal arrival times have really helped with guest flow. It just kind of allows people to come at their time that they've selected. In previous years prior to this, we had a whole bunch of people sometimes that are waiting in line, and that's not ideal for anybody. So we really just urge you to arrive at your selected time so that way there are no lines and everybody is flowing into the terminal at the appropriate time. The terminal does open at 11 a.m. and you have to be in the terminal by 3 p.m. And then as Michael mentioned, any of the guests who are utilizing our Jazz Cruises pre-cruise hotel transfer, you can go ahead and select that last time slot during the terminal arrival window during the online check-in. We'll actually override this, and once you get to the terminal on our transportation, we'll kind of just usher you right into the terminal when you arrive, so you don't have to worry about that. In your hand, you are going to want a few very important items accessible to you, including passport, express pass, any medications, and then those personal items that you might need very quick access to once you get on board the ship. Once you arrive, you're going to go ahead and transfer, you're going to hand over your luggage to the porters. As Michael mentioned, we really don't recommend putting those celebrity luggage tags onto your luggage until you've arrived into the Fort Lauderdale area. As he mentioned, they're not the most durable, so if you put them on prior to flying, for instance, they may become loose. So you just want to make sure that those are tightly attached to your luggage and that they're still on there once you're handing it over to the porters. And of course, making sure that your stateroom is accurate. If you print them out during that online check-in process, you're not going to have to worry about that. If you do, however, forget your luggage tags or pack them away somewhere accidentally, the porters at the terminal will actually have some available for you, but they're going to be handwritten. So you should probably make sure that they're accurately say your name and stateroom number, so that way it is not 7018 and it's going to 7108 instead. Again, as Michael mentioned, it's not ideal to misplace your luggage on that first day, so that's a really important step. And again, Michael mentioned those plastic luggage holders, so we will send those out in the next Get Ready letter, a link to a couple different types that are available to you if you're interested in those. And then finally, we do really recommend that you tip the porters who are helping you. Again, tipping is the international sign of gratitude. These are the people who are in charge of getting your luggage onto the ship and to your stateroom. So tipping is always appreciated, but we definitely recommend doing that in this case in particular.
Yeah, one way to make sure that you never see your luggage again would be failing to tip. That I will tell you now. You don't tip, and they're going to find a different ship for your bags.
After you go ahead and hand over your luggage to them, you're going to enter the terminal and you'll complete your registration. If you did complete your online registration or online check-in and arrive to the terminal within your selected time frame, the process is really incredibly fast. If you didn't, however, complete your online check-in, there are a few more steps in the process, so you'll have to go and can step over to an actual agent who will take you through that process while you're there. One of the other reasons why we do highly suggest doing that online check-in, because it expedites your check-in during the actual embarkation day. And then finally, you are going to board the ship when you are called. So with these arrival windows, there's really rarely a time where guests are waiting for a prolonged period of time in the terminal. Typically, after you complete the registration process, you may sit for a couple moments and then you can walk on board. So it's really improved over the past couple of years. Typically, we have a really nice guest flow, especially if you're arriving not right at the beginning. It's a pretty nice flow right on board to the ship.
Aubrey, you were just at the terminal. Can you tell them, because it is it is a nicer terminal.
Yeah. So we're at 25, which was actually built for the Edge class. So it's really nice. When you enter, you're going to go up an escalator, and then there's multiple security checkpoints there. And there's probably 20 or so agents who have iPads. They're super easy, very friendly, helpful. It's a very, very large terminal, beautiful space. Again, you're probably not going to spend too much time in it, but in the case that you do have to spend, a few minutes waiting, it's a very comfortable area for you to sit in.
Boarding the ship.
Boarding the ship. Okay, so the staterooms are now available for you right when you get on board the ship, which is super nice. So you can go ahead and go straight to your stateroom. Your cruise identification card, which is also your room key, that's how you purchase items while you're on board the ship. It's going to be right outside of your door in a little mail slot at your stateroom. So ideally, you're going to go straight to your stateroom and grab that right away, because that's something that you're going to want to keep on you for the duration of the cruise. Luggage will be available at your stateroom on or before 6 p.m. Typically, they're doing a pretty good job of getting most of them by about the time that we're setting sail, which is 4 p.m. Sometimes, depending on if you arrived a little bit later to the terminal, it might be a little bit later. So again, that is part of the reason why we do not suggest putting any personal items or medication or anything that you really need for that first night. If you want to have it and make sure that you know you have it with you for that first evening, ideally you are carrying that on board yourself on your person. And then finally, we have a variety of handouts that are available at boarding. So we have a welcome letter, which explains a whole lot of things, things that we recommend that you do during that first couple hour period. There's, explaining where you might go to purchase different items, and how dining works, etc. Just a lot of reminders that probably you've read in our Get Ready series, or you've heard over the time period leading up to the cruise, but it's helpful reminders that you can take a look at right there. We will also have a souvenir program, which is a beautiful booklet. It contains information on all of the performers, very nice photos and bios, a little bit on where we're going for the cruise, and of course, with this being the 25th anniversary sailing, a little bit about the history of this cruise in particular. And then we also have lanyards for you right when you board. So that is a handy place to keep your cruise identification card if you so choose. It go right around your neck, and it's just a really nice thing so that you don't have to worry about knowing where your room key is.
And your cruise identification card will either have a blue or a red background, and that should correspond to whether you are blue or red when you completed your reservation. On the Jazz cruise, the first night, opening night, and a formal night, we actually divide the group into blue and red because we separate the shows. We have a welcome show. Half the people go to the welcome show, the other half they have dinner, and then that reverses. And then on a formal night, that's the Hall of Fame show, and that is the same way. So be sure to check your cruise identification card, the background, blue or red. Make sure that it is consistent with your reservation. For those who have sailed with us before and did not sail with us last year, typically for years we put the actual schedule of events into the souvenir program. Unfortunately, because of a delay from the time that we have to submit it to the printer until the cruise, those schedules became at best souvenirs and at worst confusing because lots of things change. So beginning last year, and it was very effective, we have an app which we'll be talking about later, where from your phone you'll be able to know everything going on the ship, and we have our daily programs, which you get a night before. There are still going to be changes, but this is a way more accurate system other than to print things into the souvenir program. So the souvenir program really has become exactly that. It's a souvenir program. It is not a daily schedule. Next. Lunch.
Okay. So once we get on board, we really suggest you grab a bite to eat if you travel that morning, or even if you're just getting to the area. You're probably going to be hungry once you get on board. The Ocean View Cafe is on deck 10, and that's open for lunch beginning at 11:30. If you're in a suite, you are invited to go to the suite lunch, which is from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. in Lumine, which is on deck 4. And if you're an Aqua or Concierge class cabin, you are also invited to a special lunch, which is 11:30 to 1:30 p.m. And then that is in the main dining room on deck 5. Again, as Michael said, amenity and reservation purchases, there's really not a one-stop shop where you can go on board if you did not purchase something, but all of those amenities are still available for purchase once you do get on board. So if you forgot to purchase something or didn't think that you were interested in something and then realized on embarkation day that you would like to sign up for something, you are welcome to do so in that time. It's a nice time to do so. Listed here are the different areas. So spa is going to be right in the spa where you can make reservations there. That's on deck 10. Specialty dining will have stations set up in the grand foyer on deck 3 or in the Ocean View Cafe on deck 10. Beverage packages can be purchased at any bar or with any server. The internet packages, you can actually just connect right to the guest Wi-Fi, and then you're going to follow a couple of different prompts to make that purchase. And finally, Shore Excursions is available on deck 3 at the Shore Excursions desk. Again, those tours might be limited due to availability and what has already been purchased. But this is a really nice time. If you did not make those purchases or forgot to do something that you would like to purchase, you can go ahead and do it during that time. Our mandatory safety procedure. So everybody must complete the mandatory safety procedure before the ship sets sail. So that's prior to 3 p.m. really is the goal for 100% attendance. You can watch the safety demonstration video. So that's available on the Celebrity Cruises app, or if you go to your room, you can watch it in your in-room TV if you would like to do it that way. And then you go ahead and proceed to your muster station. So you can find out what that is on the back, on your cruise identification card or the back of your stateroom door. It's going to tell you where your muster station is. And there are a lot of celebrity staff and crew members who are located throughout the ship. So if you were to tell them I'm muster station A2, they're going to go ahead and tell you where exactly you are intended to go. Once you go to your muster station, they're going to give you a brief talk of probably 30 seconds max. They're going to make sure that you have already watched the safety video, and then they will verify and record that you completed that necessary requirement. So generally speaking, it's pretty easy. You don't have to report at a specific time. You just have to do that sometime after you get on board and prior to 3 p.m.
Okay.
And yeah.
Now for the entertainment talk, formats and venues. Again, the Jazz Cruise is a straight ahead jazz heaven. We try very hard to stay within that genre. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary. We will have various events commemorating the 25th anniversary. You don't have to be a past guest to really understand some of those events. They're fun, but we are going to remember people who sailed with us for years and years, and we are going to talk about the growth of the Jazz Cruise. Jazz Cruise began on the 1,245 passenger ship, and now it's 1,000 more than that. So it has grown quite a bit. In our programming, which is either on the app or in a daily program, we identify every event in three ways. In concert, that means that it's a music show, that there's live music, and that the predominant activity there is listening to music. Learn, it typically involves musicians, but they're really not performing. This could be an interview, this could be a symposium, this could be a master class, this could be anything like that. But we don't want to confuse people when they see an artist name. They just assume that the person is performing, but these could be a learn event. Enjoy is just basically a whole bunch of cruise events, whether it's bingo, a party, bridge, lots of different things on the ship. But that's enjoy. That's just pure fun. No music, no jazz, no artists, just a lot of fun. Now, a couple of the enjoy elements do involve artists when we have artist hosted events, wine tastings, and things like that. The entertainment format, basically the cruise is done festival style, completely open. You don't need a ticket to get into any show. You just have to show up, go in. You can come when you want. You can leave when you want. We have multiple shows going on at the same time. Most of the time, you can catch the last half hour of something and the first half hour of something else. We call that grazing, and you are urged to graze. Take advantage of everything that you can. Almost every show, other than shows that are in the theater, are performed multiple times, and you're going to want to take the app and figure out a schedule. Let's just say that you like so and so, and you want to see that person every single time they perform. You'll be able to do that. Or you say, I want to make sure that I see everybody. So you can map that out as well. And so that's the advantage. Twice during the cruise, we split the audience into a blue and red, as I alluded to before. On the first night after the sail away party, again, half of the guests go to dinner. They would be the guests that are holding red cards, and the other half, the people holding blue cards, go to the welcome show, which is really fun. It is run by Ken Poplowski. It's sort of a little potpourri. We have a whole bunch of the stars of the cruise doing a number, doing a couple numbers. We sort of have a theme to it, and it's a really good way to get started. And then after that, it flips, and then the red people go to the show, and the blue people dine. During this time, it's either the welcome show or dining. There is virtually no other music going on. And then once that gets completed, then the whole ship opens up for a festival style like we always do. On a formal night, that is the Jazz Cruise Hall of Fame, same exact program. We used to do the Hall of Fame show in the afternoon, and then you followed into dinner of both groups, and that meant that the first Hall of Fame show began around 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. We thought that was silly. So we're doing it the same way that we do the welcome show. We have late night jams. We've got special shows. There's a lot of shows that are in the main theater that are only performed once. We've got three editions of the big band. The big band plays 3 times, but each show is absolutely different. And there's a number of other shows, and we actually put that in the program if it's a one-time only. Some of the other theater shows are shows that have a large ensemble because they fit better on the stage, or shows that have shown over the years that they require lots of people to attend. Um, it's difficult to predict, and once in a while we will miss, and some show will become very, very crowded. Last year we actually moved a couple of shows at the time of the show to move it somewhere else because of the a number of people attending. So it's a little bit of flux, but we try to do our best to make sure that everybody gets to see the show. We're going to have there are some seating rules. There's some rules about holding seats. There are some rules about camping. Camping is if you go to one venue, the show's over, and then you stay, and then you wait for the next. So grazing, yes. Camping, no. And but we will have more rules about that later. All the rules are just meant for fairness, and so that everybody can enjoy the cruise. And it's as long as everybody plays by the rules, it goes very, very well. We've got 5 main venues for music. The main theater, which seats over 1,000 people. The Sky Lounge, which is on top of the ship, directly above the theater. Theater is on 4 and 5, and the Sky Lounge is on 11. So you just go up the elevator bank up and down, and I probably have the wrong floors, but it's close enough. Rendezvous is in the middle of the ship. It's a full theater that goes from one side of the ship to the other. It really looks like a jazz club. So does the Sky Lounge, for that matter. The pool stage. We don't do a lot of things music-wise out at the pool. Sound's not great, but we have parties out there, and that's where the T-shirt party is, and some other shows. We're going to have Jazz House Kids back again, and that's where they will perform. The really cool thing about this ship is that we can convert the Cosmopolitan restaurant into a late night or an afternoon, a cabaret style or even seated style theater. It's a beautiful place to listen to music, very open, a lot of light, and it really is a game changer because it actually gives us a significant second theater after the theater. The talent. I'm not going to name all the names because they're on the website, but we have a great lineup this year. And Eric Marienthal, who's our music director, and us, we've been working on scheduling. We have over 200 hours of music. We probably have 250 hours of events, but just look at the names, and some of the evenings are just unbelievable. And really excited about this particular group, and they've been very creative. We have been working with them to see different kind of configurations that they would like to perform in. You're going to see groupings that you won't see on land because they're on the ship. They've said, well, shoot, I haven't played with so-and-so in a long time. Give me a duet with them. For those who haven't seen Wycliffe with his International All-Stars, they're unbelievable. We've had Wycliffe on for 20-something years. It's the first time with his band, so that's kind of fun. Anyway, that's the lineup. They're great. We are looking forward to another amazing year of music. John Clayton is running the big band as always. He has some very interesting themes and ideas for that. Non-music events. We're going to have a lot more autograph recording signings where you purchase a CD on the ship. The artist signs, gives you a chance to interact. We'll have a couple of CD listening parties. Some guys have some new CDs, and they're going to walk you through them. Wine tastings, we talked about that. Those are artist-hosted events. We have lots of interviews. That's really one of the things about the cruise, which is so different from being on land. You actually get to listen to the artists talk about their lives. Christian McBride will be doing 4 of his I can't think of the name. Not download. Anyway, so that's a Sirius XM show. And those are great. Those are absolutely great. And then you hear them on the radio a couple months later, live from the Jazz Cruise. Theme
And
night.
it's the lowdown.
The lowdown. Thank you. Tuesday, January 28th, that is the welcome to the 25th anniversary of the Jazz Cruise. That's the theme. Friday night will be a ladies' day and night where we have special activities to honor the ladies performing and of the ladies who are the guests. And then Sunday, February 2nd, is formal night. Something new in honor of the 25th anniversary. Every year we've had a T-shirt. I know lots of you have kept those T-shirts, or some of them. We're going to have a vintage T-shirt contest and a vintage T-shirt party. The only rule is they have to be laundered. They can't just be from the prior year. We will have somebody doing a sniff test of everybody that walks through. But this will be fun. You can see we have a quilt that was made by my sister-in-law's mother-in-law. Okay, figured that one out. And of all the old T-shirts, and that's kind of fun. Game shows, those are fun. Where the artists participate. We're going to do the feud. We're going to do lots of different things. Alonzo Bowden is always on the cruise for his comedy shows. We're going to have pickleball tournaments, ladies' day events, morning coffee talks. Every single morning there'll be either an artist or someone of interest down in the coffee area to chat it up. We have our global gathering breakfast for all the folks who are not from the United States, and that'll be fun. You'll get that information shortly, and we would love to see you at that event. Non-music questions. Attire. The main thing is to be comfortable, particularly shoes. You're going to be even if all you do is just walk from one show to another, you are likely going to be walking way more than you would normally. So you need comfortable shoes. There really isn't any dress code other than common sense. You obviously have to have a shirt on and things like that. I mean, the basics of stuff, but we have no dress code for dining or any other aspect, except on formal night. We do ask that people dress up just a bit. This is not formals. This is not tuxedos. This isn't even suits and ties. This is sport coats for men and a little more dressy for women. At the risk of sounding goofy, we call it country club casual. I'm not a member of a country club, so I have no idea what that means. But it is just like going out to dinner, okay, on a Saturday night. That's where we're hoping. The musicians are very friendly. Feel free to talk to them. Try to talk to them at a time when they're not eating or are doing something else. And most importantly, not while they're trying to set up to perform or immediately after they perform. We run a very tight ship in terms of scheduling, and we want them to get off of the bandstand and out of the area so that we can set up for the next show. So just they're going to talk to you. They're happy to talk to you. Just use your common sense. We're going to have merchandise for sale. We have CD autographs. The ship has shops. They have a spa. They have an exercise room. They have massages. Everything that you would normally expect on a ship. They have a beauty shop. You can get your teeth whitened. You can get your hair cut. There's all kinds. They even have acupuncture. Okay, I know because I do that. Rules and procedures for a show seating. I'm gonna go through this quickly because we're gonna spend more time on this later, and there's really no reason to really get into detail now. But I'm gonna start. All seating is first come, first serve. There is no priorities. There are no reserve seats. There's no anything. You come, you find a seat. Once you are inside a venue prior to the start of a show, you are permitted to save one additional seat. This is something that we will supervise. Okay, you cannot take 3 towels and cover 3 seats, and then when they come, you pull the towels. Trust me, we've seen every trick in the book, and so we know these things. Anyway, 1 seat. Once the show begins, you cannot save a seat. If that person is not there, unless the person was there and went to the restroom or something, to be creative with your excuses, then anybody can occupy any available seat. Upon the conclusion of the show, we do ask the people remove themselves from the venue. Why? We have to clean up the venue for the next show. We have to get the next artist ready for the next show, and camping is not allowed. You can't just say, okay, there are 4 shows in the Sky Lounge today, and I'm just going to live there. Okay, I'm just going to bring my food and everything else, and that's going to be my residence for the day. Well, that's not fair to everybody else, and so we try to do that. Like I said, number 6, unattended props will be gathered by our venue monitors and held for claiming. What that means is people would leave after a show and they'd put clothes down on 5 or 6 seats, and then they come back. Well, we're not going to let that happen because that's really not fair. The shows are done multiple times, and we want everybody to have equal access to every show. Dining. This worked sort of the last time. For years, I was always upset because we do this festival style and there's so much music that people were not taking time to enjoy dinner. They were running through the Ocean View Cafe. I've never seen so many people eat dinner in the Ocean View Cafe than on the Jazz Cruise. Now, mind you, the food's good, but let's be honest, it's a cafeteria, okay? You serve yourself. So we have created the Jazz Cruise dining hour, which is usually 5 to 6, 5:15 to 6:15, where there is no music. Now, that's not enough time for a complete meal, but if you start early or you end afterwards, you're not going to miss that much music. Really urge you to do that, okay? Dietary restrictions, the ship can handle almost anything, but you got to tell them. They've got vegan menus, they've got vegetarian menus, they've got sodium menus. They've got a non-gluten menus, you know, and they have all kinds of menus. Okay, you just have to ask, and they will help you. And if you have a problem, you're going to come see me, and I'll get the chef to sit down with you, and you'll figure out what you want for dinner. Okay. Included dining. That's the Ocean View Cafe. That's breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night. Okay. No cost involved whatsoever. The Cosmopolitan Restaurant, which serves breakfast and dinner every night and a lunch on sea days. There you can make reservations. You can submit your dining groups and we are taking dining groups now, right, Aubrey?
We are, yes. And people can submit those to reservations@jazzcruisesllc.com.
And that's for you and other people. Now, and this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not. We will then take that application and we will confirm with the other members that they are part of a group, because we've had instances where someone said so and so is eating with us, and a so and so is not eating with them. So and so was eating with the other so and so we will try to make that work. The Spa Cafe, that's in the solarium area. That has food, healthy food that looks really, really good and has absolutely no taste. You can pick any item you want. It doesn't matter. They're all going to taste the same. No, actually, they've got very, very good food there. My wife lives at the Spa Cafe. And then the Pool Grill, which is the absolute opposite of the Spa Cafe. That's for hot dogs, hamburgers, gooey cheese, tacos, fries, all that stuff. Okay. And if you can't find me anywhere else, that is a good bet. Okay. The Pool Grill. Specialty dining. Tuscan Grills, very, very well known on the celebrity cruises. It's an Italian steakhouse. People love going there. It's on deck 3. And if you start on the first day looking for it, you should find it by the 5th day. They've like made the entrance to it through the back door, but it's a wonderful place. You will enjoy it. Lumine is where the suites have breakfast, but it is open to everybody else for lunch and for dinner. It's not a large menu, but it's a very lovely menu. I don't know what continental means, but that's sort of what this is. It's high end, beautiful food, terrific. One of my favorite places on the ship. The dinner menu changes daily. The lunch menu does not, and it is really good stuff. Sushi on 5. Believe it or not, that's where you get sushi, and it's on deck 5. I know that's kind of hard to believe based on the name, but that's exactly what it is. People love it. They do carryouts. You can order ahead. I mean, some people are there all the time. It is a really good. Tuscan Grill and Lumine have a $1 amount upcharge. Sushi on 5 is actually by the item. Okay. The Big Easy at Cuisine. For those who have sailed with us before, Cuisine is in the middle of the ship, all the way on top, and that is usually the residence of Le Petit Chef, and that will still be there. The animation about 3 nights during the week, but then the other nights will be our New Orleans menu that we have created that really should be absolutely super. And then we have our own steakhouse, a Jazz Cruises Chops House, and that's at Blue in the evening. Blue serves breakfast and lunch as well, but in the evening it's going to be Jazz Cruises Chops House, and that's a little play on words with chops. And that last year was far and away the most attended a restaurant, a specialty restaurant that's on the ship. It was really, really, really good once they got the baked potato thing down. They were the first time that we went there for a party of 6. They had 3 baked potatoes. They were doing it family style, and I guess what they were trying to do was to have it family fight style, so that people could fight over the baked potatoes. But they've learned, and it's really, really good. It really is. Room service. It serves breakfast, other meals. Aubrey, I don't know what the costs are these days. Can you tell them?
It is $9.95 per delivery if you are not in a suite.
Now, the next thing says Michael's take on room service. I give this speech every year. I know where your stateroom is, and I know where the kitchen is. And the odds of a meal coming out of that kitchen and getting to your room and it be hot and the way that you want it is remote at best. I know that lots of people feel that breakfast in their room, that's part of a cruise. And without that, it isn't a cruise. And I respect that, absolutely respect that. And I would urge you to do that. But what I'm saying is, if you are going to rely upon room service for a meal, a real meal, you're really better off doing something different. Of our performance schedule, you're gonna get the full performance schedule long before we sail, and you'll be able to download it. Be sure to allow extra time to reach the cruise terminal. It is a Tuesday. It is not a Saturday. It isn't a Sunday. Except for one night, casual. Again, be comfortable. You cannot use irons and you cannot use steamers when you're on the ship. And dry cleaning is slow, expensive, and not very good. Try to put as many things in your luggage that do not require that. And in today's world, that should be relatively simple. If you're planning on dining with a particular group of guests, be sure to properly submit your group dining information. Take a moment, figure out what you want to do when you are in port. We'll have a lot more info about that in the subsequent meetings. Try as hard as you can to leave your work, your obligations, and your worries at home. Let us worry about them for a week. And be sure to pack your smile, a love of music, and most of all, your humanity. It's a great group of people. We treat each other with respect. It is very inclusive, just like jazz. Everybody's on the bandstand. Everybody gets to perform, and that's how we run the cruise. Okay, we have some questions.
Yes. Michael, can you give us an idea of what programming would look like a day at sea versus a day at port?
We aren't at port that much. And so port has the following issues. Number one, people like to get off, people like to go places, and furthermore, so do the artists. So we usually have something first thing in the morning, interviews and things like that, and we usually start the music 3:30, 4, something like that. But during the heart of being in port, there is no music. When we're at sea, it's wall to wall. We have just as much music during the day, perhaps even more than we have at night.
Do you anticipate adding any additional artists?
We've got 98 right now. I think that's it. Okay. I mean, if somebody gets sick or something, we will do that. But no, we've got 98 artists right now. Okay.
A specific guest asked if their passport expires prior to the 6-month time mark that we've recommended. Can they still sail?
Yeah. Yes, you can. The reason for that is actually simple. You can get on and off the ship without a passport. You don't need that. God forbid you get off the ship, you're someplace, and something happens. You get sick, you get injured, and you have to stay on that island. You're going to need your passport to get anywhere. So we think it's safe 6 months. In other words, so use your own judgment as to that. But once you get off our ship, traveling with an expired passport that's a huge problem. You aren't going anywhere. Okay, so use your judgment.
How much would you recommend to tip the porters for your luggage?
My rule of thumb happens to be $10 a bag. Okay, you could probably get away with 5. Okay, but I think $10 a bag is the right number.
Several questions about, do we need a Wi-Fi package on board to utilize the Jazz Cruise app?
No. Nope. We can show you how that works. You just have to keep asking Aubrey what is the next show, and she'll tell you.
We will have, the app will be whitelisted, meaning that it's available to you. However, any of the like push notifications, if you're not connected to the internet, you won't be receiving those. So if you want something like that, then you would need to sign up for a Wi-Fi package. However, even if you are not connected, as long as you download the app prior to boarding, you can still access that schedule.
A push notification means a change. In other words, if Kurt Elling is performing at 9 rather than 8, you're not going to know that unless you're online.
Will there be paddles supplied for the pickleball tournament?
Yes, they do have pickleball supplies on board.
Yes.
Are luggage tags available to print through the app?
I don't know what that means. Through the app or
through the Celebrity Cruise Line app?
Yeah, yes. What 30 days ahead of time, right, Aubrey?
Yes.
Yeah, 30 days ahead of time.
And is this webinar recorded?
Yes, it is recorded. And it'll be on the website in a couple of days, or maybe sooner. Okay.
And that's all I have. There's some other very detailed questions that I'll be happy to reply to on a one-on-one basis.
Well, we are thrilled that you guys are going to be joining us. We love this cruise. I love this cruise. This was our first cruise. My mother began this cruise in 2001. For those who do not recall or whatever, the first sailing of the Jazz Cruise sailed just a few weeks after 9/11, and yet it was 100% attended, and sort of a harbinger of the future, that just how dedicated and excited guests were to be on this cruise, to enjoy this music, to enjoy the people who enjoy this music, to interact with the various musicians. It's very special, and it always feels like home when I'm on it. So I hope you guys have a great time. We will be there to do everything possible to make this, work for you. We try to have fun. You can tell that by the webinar. We don't take ourselves very seriously, but we do take what we do very seriously for you. And so that means everything. So if you have any other questions, email address. My email address is on the Weekender every Saturday. Feel free to write an email and I will respond. Call me and you're on your own. But thank you all very, very, very much.